This investigation started on February 26th with the discovery of Mr. Hackman and Miss Arakawa and their dog. Since that time, Xena, the deceased dog, has been taken for necropsy at the Veterinary Diagnostic Services, and we'll be awaiting those results.
The tragic discovery of Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa in their secluded Santa Fe home has taken yet another unexpected turn just as the world mourned the loss of the legendary actor and Ziegler partner. Has a stunning revelation emerged. A handwritten note allegedly penned by Betsy herself has been uncovered by investigators. This note, found tucked away in an unassuming drawer in the couple's sprawling estate, has sparked intense speculation and sent shock waves through both the entertainment industry and the quiet Santa Fe community where the couple lived in near total privacy.
As we know, both individuals tested negative for carbon monoxide. City Fire conducted tests and deemed scene safe for deputies to conduct their investigation. The preliminary pacemaker interrogation results.
The note, described as brief yet deeply emotional, is said to contain cryptic phrases that hint at a woman overwhelmed by circumstances yet fiercely devoted to her husband. While the exact wording remains undisclosed, sources close to the investigation suggest it may provide critical insight into the events leading up to the couple's untimely passing. Its discovery has left both authorities and the public grappling with unsettling questions. What was Betsy trying to convey in her final written words? Could this note hold the key to understanding the eerie and tragic circumstances surrounding their deaths? On the surface, Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa appeared to lead an idyllic, albeit reclusive, life. Their Santa Fe home was described by friends as a sanctuary of creativity and tranquility, seamlessly blending Southwestern charm with Gene's passion for art and Betsy's love of music. Yet, behind the gates of their secluded property, it seems struggles existed that few, perhaps even their closest friends, were aware of. The note has offered a rare glimpse into Betsy's state of mind, hinting at a deep concern for her husband's health and an overwhelming sense of responsibility as his primary caregiver in his later years. Gene's advancing age and declining mobility were well known, and Betsy was widely regarded as fiercely protective of him, especially during the recent global health crisis. Could the relentless weight of caregiving have taken its toll on Betsy, leading her to write this poignant and mysterious message?
Let's speak a little bit in reference to the timeline for Betsy Arakawa. We know from our investigation that on February 9th, 2025, she picked up Xena from Gruta Veterinary Hospital. There was a procedure that was done with the dog, which may explain why the dog was in a crate at the residence.
The circumstances surrounding the discovery of the note are nearly as enigmatic as its contents. According to insider sources, the FBI was called in to assist local authorities after initial investigations into the couple's passing led to more questions than answers. During a thorough search of the home, agents uncovered a folded piece of paper hidden inside a drawer in Betsy's personal desk. Though unsigned, preliminary analysis strongly suggests it was written in her handwriting. What makes this revelation even more intriguing is what was found alongside the note, what investigators believe to be a deliberately arranged collection of personal items. Among them were a cherished photograph of the couple with their dogs and a small stack of Gene's favorite books. This discovery has fueled speculation that Betsy may have left behind a carefully curated set of clues for those who would eventually uncover the truth. One phrase from the note has drawn particular attention: "I did everything I could." These simple yet haunting words have sparked a wave of theories. Some interpret them as an expression of Betsy's emotional and physical struggle in caring for Gene during his final years, while others believe they hint at pressures far beyond her control. Was she alluding to private hardships within their secluded life, or was she referencing something far more ominous, an outside force that had begun to infiltrate their carefully guarded world?
I think a lot of those questions are answered. I think the timeline that we've been given as far as the pacemaker results and the history and evidence that we found as far as the timeline of Miss Arakawa, I think a lot of the questions have been answered. We are waiting on the cell phones, but I would very unlikely that the cell phones are going to show anything else.
As investigators work to piece together the timeline of events, the note has become a crucial piece of evidence in an increasingly complex puzzle. With toxicology reports and autopsy results still pending, the exact cause of the couple's passing remains uncertain. However, one key detail has emerged: Gene Hackman's pacemaker recorded its final activity on February 17, 9 days before their bodies were discovered. Authorities are now retracing those critical days, searching for clues that might explain what transpired. Alongside the note, other evidence found in the home, including scattered medication bottles and a planner marked with cryptic entries, has prompted investigators to meticulously reconstruct the Hackmans' final moment.
The question is whether there was any communication from Mr. Hackman or activity, and no, at this point, no. I don't know if he used cell phones or technology or emails. There's no indication of that. So right now there is no activity from Mr. Hackman.
Forensic experts have weighed in on the significance of the note, offering their interpretations of its meaning and potential impact on the investigation. Dr. Michael Bodden, a renowned pathologist, suggested in an interview that the emotional tone of the note could indicate Betsy felt overwhelmed in her role as Gene's caretaker. When someone is under immense pressure, whether due to personal circumstances or external factors, these kinds of notes often serve as a release of those emotions, Bodden explained. The fact that it was hidden rather than left in plain sight suggests a level of internal conflict. Perhaps she wasn't entirely sure she wanted it to be found. Adding to the mystery, the couple's close friends have long described Betsy as a pillar of strength and resilience, making the tone of the note all the more perplexing. Stuart Ashman, a longtime friend of Gene, expressed disbelief in an interview. Betsy was always so composed, so focused on keeping Gene healthy and active, Ashman said. It's hard to imagine her feeling this way. She was the type of person who would never let on if she was struggling. Ashman's words have only deepened the enigma, as those who knew Betsy best struggled to reconcile the note with the woman they thought they knew. Meanwhile, the unfolding story has captivated the public and media, fueling widespread speculation. Social media platforms are flooded with armchair detectives analyzing every detail of the case, from the scattered pills on the bathroom counter to the unusual placement of the couple's deceased dog in a closet. Some have even theorized that the note contains hidden codes or messages, drawing comparisons to Hollywood thrillers where cryptic clues reveal deeper conspiracies. While these theories range from plausible to wildly speculative, they underscore the growing frustration over the lack of concrete answers. Complicating matters further is the couple's well-documented reclusiveness, which has made it difficult for investigators to gather information from neighbors or acquaintances. Residents of the gated Santa Fe community where the Hackmans lived describe them as kind yet intensely private. Few had seen them in recent years, and even fewer had any insight into their day-to-day lives. This absence of external perspective has only made the task of reconstructing the events leading up to their final days even more challenging.
Hantavirus pulmonary syndrome is a rare disease caused by hantaviruses, but a small number of human infections are found every year in New Mexico.
As the investigation continues, one pressing question remains: is the note a red herring, a distraction from the true cause of the couple's passing, or does it hold the key to unlocking the mystery surrounding their deaths? For now, authorities are keeping their findings tightly under wraps, leaving the public to speculate and theorize. The discovery of the note has undeniably heightened the intrigue, turning an already tragic and perplexing case into a story that feels straight out of a Hollywood thriller.
We do have new details now on the stunning and very sad of actor Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy. The Santa Fe medical examiner revealing autopsy results that they believe show that Hackman died of heart disease with complications from Alzheimer's.
The implications of the note are profound, extending far beyond the investigation itself to the legacies of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa. For decades, Hackman was celebrated as a giant of cinema, a man whose performances infused every role with depth and complexity. Betsy, though less well known, was admired as a brilliant classical pianist and a fiercely loyal partner. Now, the discovery of the note adds an intriguing layer to their story, raising questions about the private lives they led in the final years of their relationship. The story of Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa, however, doesn't end with the note. In fact, it's just the beginning of a deeper exploration into the life of one of Hollywood's most remarkable talents and his mysterious retreat from the public eye. As we dig further into Hackman's life, more questions arise not just about his later years, but about the legacy he left behind and the secrets he may have carried with him. Could it be that his reclusive lifestyle was driven by more than just a desire for privacy? Could it have been motivated by something darker, something still hidden in the shadows of Hollywood's glittering surface?
Just so shocking and heartbreaking, but investigators say it's unclear if Hackman knew that his wife of 30 years was for a week before he passed away.
To understand what might have been happening behind closed doors, we need to look back at the beginning of Gene Hackman's extraordinary life. He wasn't born into wealth or fame, quite the opposite. Hackman grew up in Danville, Illinois, in a modest household that faced its fair share of hardships. His father left when Gene was just a boy, leaving a lasting emotional mark. Imagine being a child, playing in the street, and seeing your father drive by, waving as he disappears from your life forever. That kind of heartbreak stayed with Hackman, and it's easy to see how it could have shaped the depth and intensity of the performances he became famous for. But Hackman wasn't one to dwell on his pain. At 16, he lied about his age to enlist in the Marines, a decision that would forge a toughness and resilience in him that lasted throughout his life. After his service, he made his way to California and then New York, where he studied acting alongside future legends like Dustin Hoffman and Robert Duvall. Picture those three young, struggling actors, hustling for work, sharing cheap meals, and dreaming of stardom. It's the kind of story that embodies the very essence of Hollywood.
They say he was in an advanced stage of Alzheimer's, and it's possible he just didn't know. And some of what they said yesterday, just really as shocking as the revelation that Hackman and his wife to begin with. Some of the timeline, the fact that Betsy was seen on camera at a CVS pharmacy just shortly before she died, for some people that raises more questions than answers.
Gene Hackman's big break came in 1967 with Bonnie and Clyde, where he portrayed Buck Barrow, the ill-fated brother of Warren Beatty's Clyde. That role earned him his first Academy Award nomination and firmly established him in Hollywood. From there, his career skyrocketed in a way few actors ever experience. Hackman became the quintessential everyman on screen, a face audiences could instantly connect with. Whether playing a tough cop in The French Connection, a paranoid surveillance expert in The Conversation, or a ruthless sheriff in Unforgiven, his performances were not just impressive, they were transformative. Yet, despite his success, Hackman always seemed to keep a distance from the Hollywood machine. While he earned a reputation as one of the hardest working and most respected actors in the industry, he was also known for being fiercely private, sometimes even prickly. Unlike many of his peers, he wasn't interested in the spotlight, the parties, the gossip, or the endless red carpets. Instead, he focused solely on his craft, dedicating himself to each role with a passion that bordered on obsession. By the time he retired in 2004, Hackman had amassed nearly 80 films, 2 Academy Awards, and a wealth of other accolades, leaving behind a legacy that few could match.
Not many cases in the United States. It causes multiple different symptoms. It can affect the pulmonary system, your kidneys, it can cause internal bleeding, and some symptoms that are similar to the flu, body aches, weakness, chills. It is not passed from person to person, and I want to stress this because the mortality rate is very high, but people don't need to worry about spreading this from one person to another.
So why would someone at the peak of their career walk away from it all? That's the question that has puzzled fans and industry insiders for years. Hackman himself offered a simple explanation: he was tired. The long hours on set, the constant travel, and the pressure to perform had all taken their toll. He wanted to spend more time with Betsy, focus on his writing and painting, and enjoy the peaceful life they had carved out together in Santa Fe. For a while, that seemed like the end of the story. But there's another side to Hackman's decision to step out of the limelight, one that goes beyond personal fulfillment and hints at a desire to protect himself, and perhaps those he loved. For years, rumors have circulated that Hackman knew things about Hollywood that others would prefer remain hidden. And as more pieces of the puzzle come together, those rumors begin to take on a darker, more intriguing form.
So it's really hard to say clinically where he was on the continuum of Alzheimer's, but according to the medical examiner, there was evidence that his Alzheimer's was quite advanced. And considering his wife may have passed approximately a week before him, and, he was not able to call for help, we'll never know exactly.
Think about it, Hackman came up in an era when Hollywood was a very different beast. The studios held immense power, and the lines between personal and professional lives were often blurred. Hackman wasn't just a bystander in that world, he was deeply embedded in it. He worked alongside some of the biggest names in the business, people who would later be implicated in scandals and cover-ups that rocked the industry. And yet, Hackman always seemed to remain above the drama. He wasn't a fixture in the tabloids, never aired his personal struggles in public, and, by all accounts, was the epitome of a consummate professional who kept his focus on the work. But what if that professionalism was also a way of keeping certain secrets? There are, of course, unverified stories suggesting that Hackman might have known more than he let on, things that happened behind closed doors, things that could have destroyed careers or even ended them. Some have speculated that his sudden exit from Hollywood wasn't just about seeking a quieter life, but about distancing himself from an industry he no longer felt comfortable being part of.
Breaking news, actor Gene Hackman's cause of revealed. It is tragic, sad. Officials tonight say the actor's wife a week before Hackman.
And then there's Betsy. By all accounts, she was Hackman's anchor, the person who kept him grounded, even as his career reached great heights. But Betsy also had her own ties to the entertainment world, having once performed as a classical pianist with the Honolulu Symphony Orchestra. Could she have known things too? Did their shared desire for privacy stem from a mutual understanding that some things were best left unsaid? The rumors surrounding Hackman's knowledge of Hollywood's hidden truths have only intensified since his passing. Some have pointed to the couple's reclusive lifestyle as proof that they were running from something or someone. Others have highlighted the strange circumstances of their final days, including the mysterious details of Betsy's note and the condition of their home when they were found. Was their isolation a conscious choice, or a necessity? It's important to note that Hackman wasn't entirely disconnected from the world after his retirement. He stayed active in the Santa Fe community, investing in local businesses and even contributing artwork to a restaurant he co-owned. Yet, even in these moments of engagement, he kept a certain distance, a reluctance to let people get too close. This pattern has only fueled further speculation about what he might have been keeping hidden.
Longtime love, Betsy Arakawa, hantavirus. It's a rare flu-like disease linked to rats. And officials say Hackman's advanced Alzheimer's was so severe that he lived in their New Mexico house, or survived, might be the better word, for a week with his wife's body before he also passed away.
At the heart of this mystery lies the question of who Gene Hackman really was. Was he simply a man who valued his privacy and sought to live life on his own terms, or was there more to his story, a hidden chapter that we may never fully comprehend? And if he did know things about Hollywood that others didn't, what could those secrets have been? Were they just the kind of industry gossip that everyone hears, or something far more serious? As the investigation into Gene and Betsy's passing unfolds, these questions remain unanswered. But one thing is certain: the life and legacy of Gene Hackman are far more complex than they initially appear. He was an actor of immense talent, a true cinematic icon. Yet, he was also an enigma, a puzzle that even those closest to him struggled to solve.
Was he aware that Miss Hackman had? And I think that question's difficult to answer, but I can tell you that he was in an advanced state of Alzheimer's, and it's quite possible that he was not aware that she was deceased.
In the end, perhaps the greatest mystery of all is how Gene Hackman managed to navigate the treacherous waters of Hollywood while staying true to himself. He was a star who shone brightly but never allowed the spotlight to consume him. A man who poured everything into his craft, yet kept a part of himself hidden from the public eye. And maybe that's why his story continues to captivate us, because it serves as a reminder that even the most celebrated lives are full of complexities and contradictions. The tragic and mysterious circumstances surrounding Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa's final days have left us with more questions than answers. As we continue to unravel the threads of their story, we can't help but wonder, what secrets did Betsy's note hold? Could it reveal the true nature of their reclusive life? Was their isolation a conscious choice or a necessity driven by fears or knowledge they couldn't share? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Let us keep the conversation going as we seek to understand the enigma that was Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the mysteries that intrigue us.